I don't know who else to turn to. This is going to sound insane, but I need to get it off my chest. A month ago, I adopted a dog from a shelter. His name was Max, and he was this scruffy, medium-sized mutt with the saddest eyes I'd ever seen. The shelter said he'd been found wandering in the woods, and no one had come to claim him. At first, everything was fine. Max was sweet, quiet, and well-behaved. But then, things started to get weird. It began with the way he watched me. Have you ever felt like you were being studied? Like something was observing you, trying to figure you out? That's how it felt. Max would sit in the corner of the room, his head tilted just slightly, his eyes never leaving me. And his eyes, they didn't look right. They were too dark, almost black, and they seemed to glint in the dim light. Then there were the noises. Late at night, I'd hear him pacing in the hallway, but it didn't sound like a dog walking. It was heavier, slower, like something dragging itself across the floor. One night, I got up to check on him, and I found him standing in the middle of the living room. He was on his hind legs, perfectly still, staring at the wall. When I called his name, he turned his head slowly, too slowly, and looked at me. His mouth opened, and he made this sound. It wasn't a bark. It was more like a guttural, human-like groan. I told myself I was overreacting. Maybe he was just stressed from being in a new environment. But then, things got worse. One morning, I woke up to find my bedroom door wide open. Max was sitting at the foot of my bed, his head resting on the mattress. His eyes were fixed on me, and his mouth was stretched into this grotesque, unnatural grin. I swear, it wasn't a dog's smile. It was too wide, too human. I tried to shove him off the bed, but he didn't move. He just kept staring at me, that horrible grin never faltering. Finally, I shouted at him, and he slinked away, his body moving in a way that made my skin crawl. It was like he was imitating a dog, but not quite getting it right. The final straw came last night. I was in the kitchen, and I heard Max whining at the back door. I opened it to let him out, but he didn't go. Instead, he just stood there, staring into the darkness. Then he turned to me and spoke. Yes, you heard me right. He spoke. In a voice that was low and raspy, like it was coming from somewhere deep inside him, he said, "You shouldn't have taken me in." I slammed the door shut and locked it, my heart pounding. I could hear him on the other side, scratching at the wood. And then he started laughing. It was this horrible, gurgling laugh that didn't sound like anything a dog, or even a human, should be able to make. I don't know what to do. Max is still out there, and I can hear him moving around the house. Sometimes I see his shadow through the windows, but it doesn't look like a dog's shadow. It's too tall, too thin, with long, spindly limbs that stretch and twist in ways that make my stomach churn. I'm too scared to leave my room. I don't know what he is, but I know one thing for sure. Max isn't a dog, and I don't think he ever was.